Well, good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. And this is Jonathan Blaze from the National Weather Service in Raleigh with the weekly impact weather briefing for Central North Carolina. We're looking ahead to a rather uneventful week weather-wise across the central part of the state. Our jet stream pattern this week will feature a northwest to westerly flow aloft. Typically, that means seasonable temperatures with dry conditions and a few weather systems getting blown across us, but generally nothing impactful. First weather system will be a cold front that will move through the state late this morning and especially this afternoon. That front will push south of the area tonight and tomorrow, and high pressure will build into the region for Tuesday and into early Wednesday. Next weather system, which shows up on the upper right as this storm system across the Midwest, that will gradually and generally move east across the southern Great Lakes and into the northeast. That'll mean that the main part of that weather feature will stay well to our north, and we'll just have a dry frontal passage, or mainly dry frontal passage, move through the area as we head into Thursday. Behind that system, high pressure will build into the region for the late part of the week and to the early part of the weekend before the next little weak storm system moves across the Ohio Valley and into the northeast for latter parts of the week and into early next week. So essentially a transient pattern with weak weather systems that are cut off from deep moisture, meaning generally dry week ahead of us. Best chance of rain this week, and really the only chance of real precipitation this week looks like it'll be with this Thursday frontal passage, and rainfall amounts with that will be quite light. Given that, we have no severe weather expected this week, and our severe thunderstorm potential is clear. We don't expect any thunderstorms actually through Wednesday. And looking at our forecast rain amounts, you can see dry weather across our region for today and Tuesday. Here's the beginning part of this storm system moving into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes on Wednesday. As that front swings through on Thursday, we could get some very light precipitation amounts, generally on the order of 1/10 of an inch or less. And for Saturday and Sunday, even though we're painted in here with very light amounts, we expect dry conditions essentially for that period. So the 7-day total rainfall amounts over us in general will average around 1/10 of an inch or less. With that in mind, looking back for the past couple weeks across the area, there's been no measurable rain across much of central North Carolina for the past couple weeks. Since the passage of Hurricane Matthew, the Piedmont Triad Airport at Greensboro has reported no measurable rain since October 8th, and there's been no measurable precipitation at Raleigh-Durham or Fayetteville since October 9th. A few folks had some scattered showers and thunderstorms last Thursday, but those were rather scattered about, and rainfall with that was somewhat limited. So with no precipitation expected today, there have been either 15 or 16 straight days with no measurable precipitation at Greensboro, Raleigh, and Fayetteville. And any rain through this week is expected to be light. So this dry period will continue and will likely grow into the third week, if not the fourth week. No precipitation or impacts expected from tropical cyclones from the Atlantic, so that should keep the dry weather rolling ahead for the next 5 to 10 days. And as we look ahead to Halloween, granted Halloween's about 7 days away, so we're stretching things a little bit trying to get too specific on the forecast for that time period. But at this point, the weather pattern looks favorable, again with a westerly or northwesterly flow aloft. Only weak storm systems are expected to be nearby, and we're looking at a fairly mild or seasonable temperature regime. Sunset on Halloween should be within a few minutes of 6:20 across the central part of the state. Beyond that, looking ahead to 8 to 14 days, patterns suggest near to above normal temperatures and near to below normal precipitation, so essentially much of the same. And as we look at our highlights and looking at some climate data here across the area, we expect quiet and generally dry this week. A cold front arriving late in the week could bring some small rain chances, mainly across the north near Virginia border, and that's our Friday frontal passage. Temperatures will be warm today with highs in the 70s in most locations, touching 80 in a few spots, but then they'll become a little bit cooler behind our frontal systems with highs generally in the mid-60s to lower 70s for most of us for the remaining several days. All central North Carolina rivers have fallen below flood stage. Water levels remain high on some rivers, especially the lower reaches of the Neuse and the Roanoke, where dam releases and other factors continue to cause some elevated water levels there. With that, that concludes the end of our weekly weather briefing. I'll stand by for just a few moments and see if there are any questions here in the question box. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great week and enjoy the quiet weather.